I am Ayeah Avisa, co-founder of Graffiti Designs. So basically we do two things. We design graphics and we train designers. 6 lessons I've learned during my entrepreneurial journey. So basically I want to capture the most important parts of my entrepreneurial journey in a bit to inspire somebody out there listening to me today. So the first lesson I learned on my entrepreneurial journey is the 6-figure jobs you dream about are already taken. Many of us go to school and we get this college degree and all that with the aspiration to come out into the real world and perhaps, get a really great job and make mommy proud, But in reality, you would come to the sad realization that many of those jobs either don't exist or the world's actually waiting for you to create them. If you graduate and you cannot find an opportunity, what do? You find a way to get one for yourself. You find a way to make one, and why not create one for others? Now the next lesson is no knowledge is wasted. Now I came up with this because most of the time what you would learn in school or what I learned in school and what you end up doing is really not related. Okay, I'll take my case for example. I learned accounting at the University of Ayeah, and right now I am so much into graphic design and entrepreneurship. But I'll tell you what, no knowledge is wasted. What does this mean? Whatever you're studying in school today, even though you may not end up having a job in this domain, you can actually turn that into an entrepreneurial opportunity. So all what you have to do is to begin to think today of how the skills you have, the knowledge you have can solve problems, real problems for some people out there. Now, I'll take this opportunity to tell you how I started graphic design, basically, graphic designs. About 3 years ago, as a student in the University of Ayeah, I always had this entrepreneurial drive anyway. So I had this really great project which I wanted to put out there into the world. I had these really great competitions which I wanted to go in for. And I only needed a logo. To be designed for me. And trust me, I reached out to so many people, so many designers and all that, and they gave me insane prices. Like, as a student in the university, I just couldn't afford that. So what would I do? Would I let my vision die down because I couldn't design a flyer or logo or 3D animation? No. So what did I do? I started learning. I actually learned graphic design on my own. I learned everything, perfected it. Family and friends may not always patronize you first. Family and friends may not always patronize you first. So I'll tell you something today for everyone listening to me out there who wishes to become an entrepreneur or who is already an entrepreneur. Please do not expect too much from your family and friends. Yeah, it's true that whenever we think of entrepreneurship, we believe that our first customers, our first partners, our first sponsors should be our family and friends. But in reality, it doesn't always happen that way. Why is that? Because our family and friends are just like any other person out there, every other people out there, they are rational in their thinking. And just like every rational person, people don't waste money. People need to see that you are actually getting somewhere before they can invest in your project, for example. And people also really need to see that you can create real value before they can buy your project or your product, So trust me, your friends will not assemble and buy your products or your services simply because they know you. The only reason why people will buy from you is because you have real value which you're creating. So please stop expecting too much from family and friends. Start where you are, create something valuable, and trust me, the rest will follow. The next lesson I learned, which is the 4th lesson, is people need proof to believe. So people need proof to believe. So this basically goes out to every entrepreneur out there who is seeking investment or funding for their project. Because the biggest problem which entrepreneurs have out there is financing, funding. Many of the times our dreams, very great dreams, innovative ideas die down because we cannot find funding. But I'll tell you something very simple, and it's the biggest paradox that every entrepreneur faces, and I face that. Every entrepreneur faces the biggest paradox. Now, it's really simple, and I'll illustrate this in a very simple way. Nobody invests in your idea when they don't see a proof, when they don't see a prototype. In entrepreneurship, we call it a prototype. Let's say you come up with something as proof that you can do better. But then, once you create something that is tangible, let's say a prototype, something that people can see and believe, you're going to have more than enough people running behind you to sponsor your idea. So it's a big paradox, because as a young entrepreneur, the time when you really need that money to build your first prototypes, to build your first trials, to build your first service, you probably will not get it. You need to start small. you need to take those baby steps. You need to start something small. Sometimes you really think what you're doing is small, when actually there's somebody out there who needs it, and you may be surprised with the amount of impact you can create if you can start and grow progressively. You have all you need as an entrepreneur, and that is your brain. So whenever people think of business and entrepreneurship, the first thing that comes to our mind is we need capital, we need funding, we need a team, we need a building, we need this, we need that, we need that. But I tell you what, as an entrepreneur, the first thing which I learned is you have to be able to use your brain as an entrepreneur. You need to be able to maximize the law of attraction. And the law of attraction, in the very simplest way, states that everything you focus on expands. Everything you focus on expands. Now, what does this mean? It means that if you have something and you're really passionate about it as an entrepreneurial journey, let's say you've already identified a problem, you've already built up a business model to solve that problem and all that. Now, you need to be able to focus your time, your energy, and your skills and ability on building these things. And what you realize while you're focusing your time and energy and all that is that what you're thinking about will expand. Your mind and the universe will automatically start to rearrange in a way that you can actually achieve your objective. Now, you realize one thing, the way you start to think will change. The kind of events you start to attend will change. The kind of people you connect with will change. And before you know it, you'll start making the right connections. You'll start writing the right business plans. You'll start applying for the right the right competition, which will give you the exposure you have or you need. When I have something and I believe in what I'm doing, I go for it. If I go online and see an entrepreneurial opportunity, let's say an event, and I have a project or a business which I'm running, I go for it. Now, it doesn't bother me to know that there are great people all around the world who are applying for this. I believe that I'm up to standard, and I hope that you all can believe in yourself. So go online, find opportunities. There's a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities there. Opportunities for people who just have ideas, others for people who have prototypes, others for entrepreneurs who are already running their businesses. Whatever the case, if you can win one entrepreneurial, in fact, if you can participate or be shortlisted for one business challenge, trust me, your entrepreneurial journey will never be the same again, because the exposure which you get, the funding which you get, the networking which you get will take you to another level. So create something valuable and put yourself out there, go for opportunities. My last lesson which I learned on an entrepreneurial journey is high income skills really pay. Now, high income skills really pay. I'm not saying that you should not go to school and learn geography, science, doctors, and all that. True, learn all those things, but you have to understand that we are in the digital world. We are in the digital economy. The physical systems which you see, the physical jobs and all that, at some point will actually get outdated, and the online systems will come to replace these ones. Which means that if you're an entrepreneur today, you should be thinking about tomorrow. You should be thinking about taking your business online or being a model that can actually work partially or completely online. And in order to achieve that, I would encourage every one of you to learn at least one high income skill today. Trust me, in the digital world, there's a couple of high income skills that if you learn, your life will never be the same. You'll experience exponential growth. And one of them, which I always advise young people, is web design. If you can learn things like web design, digital marketing, graphic designs like myself, one or two of such skills which really don't require you to get into an office or anything complicated, just require some good skills and perhaps a computer and internet connection. You can get yourself started.